continuing on with our index laws, we have our zero index and our power of a power. So the laws we're looking at today are the power of a power, first of all, which says that a to the power of m, all put to the power of n, gives us a to the power of mn. So what we've done there is we've multiplied our powers. I'm going to show you how that works in a sec, but our second law that we're working with is that a to the power of 0 is 1. So what that tells us is that anything put to the power of 0 is 1. So you can check that with various numbers in your calculator, but really the challenge in using the zero index is checking that you are careful with brackets and negatives. And I'm going to show you in our examples. Okay, so firstly, looking at power of a power, we have x to the power of 3 all to the power of 2. So if I expanded that, okay, it means I've got x to the power of 3 times x to the power of 3, right? So I've got x cubed squared. If I had it written like this, I would know that I add my powers and I get 3 plus 3, which is 6. Okay, which x to the power of 6, showing you 3 times 2 gives us 6. All right, that's how the law works. Then I've got another example of 3 outside of y to the power of 5 squared. Now, here's where you need to be careful because our 3 has not been put to any power. What's being squared is simply just the y to the power of 5. So our 3 is actually going to stay as is because it's not getting put to any power. All right, and then we use our law of power of power. 5 times 2 gives us 10. So we end up with 3y to the power of 10. Okay, so then we move on to our zero index. Okay, so what we have here is negative 3 being put to the power of 0. So remember I said that anything to the power of 0 is 1. That includes negative. So negative 3 to the power of 0 is 1. But you can see in our next example, we have negative of 5x to the power of 0. Now, you've got to be really careful here because what is being put to the power of 0 is just what's inside the brackets. Okay, so it's just that 5x being put to the power of 0. The negative is not, so the negative stays as is. Okay, and of course 5x to the power of 0 is 1. Okay, so then we start to get a bit of a combo, right? Slightly more complex, but it's just about reading carefully what we actually have in front of us. So we have 2 times y to the power of 0. So what's actually happening there is we've got 2 times y to the power of 0 is 1, okay, minus 3y to the power of 0. So you can see the brackets are around 3y, so the whole thing is being put to the power of 0. So that is going to be 1. So we get 2 times 1 is 2, take away 1 is 1. Okay, then we start to combine our laws. All right, using what we already know to be able to answer more complex problems. So we've got x squared all to the power of 3 multiplied by x cubed to the power of 5. So I'm going to treat my terms separately at first. So I've got x squared cubed gives us x to the power of 6. Then I'm multiplying that by x to the power of 3 to the power of 5, which of course 3 times 5 is 15. All right, I'm not finished working because I can still simplify this using my law of multiplication, where I will add my powers now. So because I've got the same base, x and x, I simply add my powers. So 6 plus 15 gives me 21. So my final answer is going to be x to the power of 21. Okay, slightly more complex still. Okay, when we have a fraction, you can see we're working all with x's, so we're going to simplify first. All right, so I want to simplify the top of our fraction first before we try and use our division law as well. So let's just look at the top of the fraction. So we've got 4x squared times 3x cubed. Now our 4 and our 3 are not being put to any power. So we can multiply those as normal, right? So 4 times 3 gives us 12. Okay, x squared times x cubed. We add our powers from our multiplication law. So 2 plus 3 is 5. All right, and then, so I've simplified the top, and I'm going to rewrite my fraction with the denominator. Okay, now I can use my law for dividing. All right, so 12x to the power of 5 over 6x to the power of 5. 12 divided by 6 gives me 2. Okay, now when you end up with a whole number like that, it's going to be on the top of the fraction, and I'll show you why. If you don't think of it as dividing, but you think of it as simplifying terms in a fraction, our highest common factor of 12 and 6 is actually 6. So we cross out our 6, and there's 1 6 in 6. We cross out our 12, there's 2 6s in 12. Okay, so you can see the bottom becomes 1, the top becomes 2. And x to the power of 5 over x to the power of 5, we subtract our powers. 5 minus 5 is 0. X to the power of 0, of course, gives us 1. 2x to the power of 0 is 2. Okay, so they actually will reduce completely out of that fraction. Hopefully that was helpful. Give it a thumbs up if it was. Remember to subscribe to my channel so you get notified when I upload new videos.